shine.
Breonna loved her family, her community, and more than anything, she loved life.
We're not talking about a few rotten apples in a police department. We are talking about a culture of cover-up.
An LMPD engaged in a pattern or practice of conduct that violates the First and Fourth Amendments of the Constitution.
And it's not that I hate the police. I want our police to do what we paid them for.
Proud of the work that our office did on that case. The facts remain the same.
Has the power to arrest and charge cops that murdered Breonna Taylor.
Brett Hankerson leaving Louisville's federal courthouse moments after a jury found him guilty.
This fight is really not over.
I miss you. I love her, and I wish she could come home.
I think if you look at the functioning, the makeup, the culture of this department, we are not the same place as we were 5 years ago, and I would expect that 5 years from now, we will continue to grow and improve from this point forward. I mean, it's been well documented. I'm the 6th chief since then, just 5 years ago. We've had massive turnover. We've had hundreds of policies changed. We've instituted all different types of systems and checks and balances, and frankly, we are still striving towards becoming a department of constant improvement, where it does not take a similar event for us to learn lessons to improve. That is how we operate on a day-to-day basis, and that's the challenge to myself, and that's the challenge that I put forth to every officer on this department, is that we make sure that our successes are intentional, and we make sure that when we have places where we need to improve, that we have systems in place to challenge that and find ways to make sure that we do those things better the next time. And so I would think that I know that anniversary is often a time of pain for many, but it's also a time of reflection and recognizing where we were versus where we are.
Police Chief Paul Humphrey reflecting just last week on the 5 years of changes since LMPD shot and killed Breonna Taylor inside her apartment. It was almost 1 in the morning, March 13, 2020. 5 years of progress, with more still to come, according to the chief. And we want to reflect on our community. Has it moved forward in any way? Roots 101 founder, museum founder Lamont Collins is joining me. And Lamont, Roots 101 was founded during the protest movement, when the protests were all through Louisville. Tell me about that.
Yeah, it happened really at the same time, basically. Had the vision to open a museum, and maybe 2 months into that in covert, Breonna Taylor was killed or assassinated, whatever you want to call it, because it was harsher than what we try to make it sound. So her life was ended.
Do you see, has Louisville made any progress, or has it retreated from any momentum you may have seen in those early months of the protest movement?
I think emotionally it's retreated. I think a lot of the young people that were involved have never retreated. They just don't know what to do next. It's almost like a walking dead. You know, there's emotional trauma that goes through all of them. And what do we do next? If you ask, have the city evolved, I'm not sure if I can answer that. Unless we talk about economically, business opportunities, that hasn't evolved. We still don't have black businesses downtown. We still don't have programs to make sure that financial institutions can survive. So I can't answer whether it's changed. It's like 1968 to me.
Would you agree? Maybe you don't, but one thing that did seem to come out of this was a renewal of West Louisville, the embracing of private dollars going in there. We're reporting this week on the Parkland Library being reopened, a lot of money being invested there. The Portland Library, the Norton West Louisville Hospital, the Urban League Center. That big money came during the early weeks of the protests. I remember that huge donation coming to Sadiqa Reynolds. Mm-hmm. How do you view that progress versus maybe where we stand as black and white folks in this community coming together?
Well, I think it's a noble project that's happened, but when I look through history and look at history books, it has happened before. To me, it's about putting economic power in our communities. When I was younger, you had Philip Morris and businesses in the community where it was fair wages. It was high-end wages within the community to make the neighborhood great. I don't know if I've seen that. I do see affordable housing, but I don't see the investment like you see in Oldham County and places like plants in operation. We don't have that coming to the neighborhoods.
Do you have hope for the police department now under the leadership of Paul Humphrey? Grew up in Louisville. He was on that department when Breonna Taylor was killed. He was not there that night of the raid. And you hear his thoughts that we just ran here moments ago.
I met him before. Matter of fact, they did a project at Roots 101 called Policing 101, where he brought his new candidates in. So I was very impressed with him. Went up to a room, and he was very open on what he expected from troops or from service guys or police officers. So I trust him. I think his heart's in the right place, and I think he knows the history and pulse of Louisville.
So you opened the museum really in the cusp of a lot of interest during the protest movement. Tell me how business is now 5 years later, because you're located right in downtown Louisville over there by the Humana Waterside building.
Well, I think business is great. I think it's the worst of time and best of times. As a business, we did over 65,000 guests and school kids last year. That's amazing. We're looked upon as a destination and not an attraction. I think whenever the city decides to make us an attraction within their marketing, we'll be bigger and better than what we are now.
So you're encouraged that people are seeking you out for information and understanding.
There's no doubt. When people come to Louisville, if they come to me first, they come to me and then go Alley Center. So it's done everything it needs to do. I've gotten people from Germany, Puerto Rico, you name it, and everybody leaves out different because they don't understand our history, because our history is not told.
Lamont Collins, thanks for coming in and your perspective as always. We appreciate it on this 5-year date.
Have a blessed one.